And a long-awaited breakthrough may be taking shape in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, where years of conflict and displacement have left communities devastated. A preliminary peace agreement has now been signed between the Congolese government and the M23 rebel group, long accused of receiving support from neighboring Rwanda. The deal brokered in Doha under the Qatari mediation promises to uphold the DRC's territorial sovereignty and prioritize civilian protection. In Goma, residents who have endured repeated waves of violence say they are hopeful that this latest development marks a turning point. Under the terms of the deal, both sides have committed to a permanent ceasefire with a ban on all military attacks, aerial strikes, and territorial advances. To discuss more on the situation in the DRC, Sheyi Adeyemo, publisher Inside Watch Africa, joins me on the news this hour. Good to have you join us on The World Now. Walk us through what the deal is and what each parties are walking away with.
First of all, I must say that I'm excited that at least they're on the table right now and they're able to talk. They're able to give us the hope that the peace that all of us have desired and longed for up till now is finally on the table. Now, the difference, if I would just want to quickly address the critics of this deal, because a lot of people are still very skeptical that the deal is not complete. The difference now is if you clearly look at the narrative, the way they're talking now, the usual thing is they would always bring onto the table the contribution or the involvement of Rwanda. That is not on the table. The government themselves are the ones speaking to the people. And if you compare what the government is saying and what M23 is saying, is almost the same. So I, as an African, am happy that a country that is arguably the richest or one of the richest countries in the world, unfortunately in natural resources, but unfortunately very poor as regards as the living condition of the people, is finally going to find some peace. Although I am not oblivious of the fact that, yes, it is M23 today and the government side, but we all know that they have more than 120 rebel groups, different rebel groups that are there. So we're hoping that the whatever sparked or sort of brought the M23 and government to start to see things in a different way would also affect the rest of the militias and all sort of people who are, here and there, inside and out of Congo, that have continued to cause this mayhem that have plagued the people for this long.
Mentioned is also raising the question of how this peace deal is actually addressing the issue of the actual removal of the M23 rebels, because like you mentioned, about 120 groups, they could as well have another name. We've seen a statement from someone who is supposed to, represent that group, saying that they agreed to drop their guns, but not exactly pull out of that area.
Okay, so I mean, we can at this junction we can only be hopeful and be positive and expect that the things will pull through, because truth is, I mean, it would be foolhardy of us to feel that everything will just go back to normal and everything will just be well, just like that, considering the very volatile state of the area. The resources are still there. Men all over the world are still very selfish. And as long as men remains men and we all look out for ourselves in the things we do, an area that is as wealthy in natural resource as Congo is, would always be a trouble zone, because people will naturally want to take advantage of those resources. They expect that they never get their acts right so that they will continue to benefit from the place. But we're hoping and trusting that the government of the day would have learned their lesson, They will be more strategic in the way they manage, because as it stands, in my opinion, they are in the best position to do the best thing for the people of Congo, because no country anywhere, no group of people can really look out for the people of Congo as much as the present government of Congo.
Let's take a part of the statement, made at that peace deal. It says that it marks a major milestone in the ongoing effort to achieve lasting peace and security in Eastern DRC. We've seen a lot of, interpretations to this. But talk to us about what the potential benefit it will be for both sides if they were to actually keep to their part of the deal.
Okay, the first one is, rather than us, both parties stealing it, they can together start to share, because at the end of the day, the bottom line is the benefit to the people.
Right.
M23 can claim that what they are there for is to make sure that the Hutus are kept in check. But we all know that since they started, they have benefited immensely from the resources there. So my take and belief is that if government also become responsible in the way they manage their relationship with all of these people, they probably will be able to say, rather than us stealing or taking this thing from the back door, can we bring this to the table so that all of us can benefit more? Because in my opinion, and I'm sure they know, that whether it is the government or M23, who are the major parties in this particular incident that we're talking about, would definitely not be benefiting as much as they could if only there's an agreement and they're able to properly manage the mining of all these great resources. I mean, we all know that there's no country that is as blessed in natural resources in Africa as Congo is. So I believe that they will be responsible enough to know that if all of this is brought to the fore and to the table, all of them will benefit more from the natural resources, which is clearly the major problem that we have.
And there is a conversation about how locals themselves are feeling, because some of them are warning of bloodshed, as this is just another peace deal to them. Some of them see it as a peace deal without action. Right before the break, I was talking to you about how locals are feeling about the situation. Some of them say it's another peace deal that they're signing without action. But let's look at the role of Qatar as a mediator. I mean, this is not the first time Qatar has a lot of experience in facilitating complex negotiations like this. Is this deal or this agreement likely to stay because of Qatar's role?
No, so I'm not going to dwell on Qatar, because the truth of the matter is, I, as an African, strongly believe that nobody, no country, no group of people outside of Africa or a country can really do the best for a country than that, than the people of the country themselves. So I will again want to beg and hope that the government of the land is serious and they understand what is at stake here and how much they could benefit if they do what is right. For instance, we all know that they have an agreement with China. And China has been benefiting immensely from mining their natural resources. Now, the agreement was for China to build up the country, the roads, infrastructure, and a host of those things. For instance, I also believe that the reason why the people of the land, most of which, the youths, are miners, they don't benefit because, one, the mines are not properly put together. The remuneration that goes to them is horrible. It's probably the lowest you can find anywhere in the world. And so rather than wait for them to fight for themselves, I'm hoping that the government would take the responsibility upon themselves to negotiate on their behalf, make sure that the working conditions of miners are better than it is right now, so that at least they can start to get immediate benefit from this negotiation. Because the truth of the matter is, at the end of the day, not that I have an empirical evidence, but I know that most often those that they recruit to become all these agitators and at the end of the day join the M23 and the rest of them and all the other 120 militias are these miners who are disgruntled And so it is important that government of the day make sure quickly, as soon as possible, that the working conditions of miners are a lot better than it is today, and the kind of remunerations that accrue to them is better than it is today.
That's a fine place to leave the conversation for now. Publisher Inside Watch Africa, Sheyi Adiemo. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.